Welcome to another episode of XXL RC. Today we're doing something a little bit different. No driving videos, no unboxing, although I do have something in a box over there. My neighbor, who obviously knows that I'm into RC, he's seen me out playing with my trucks, although usually I'm in the back, but I happen to be in the front and he saw me. So he stopped by the other day and asked me if I've ever cut out an RC body. Now, I have done this before a few times. It's not too bad, but he said that his son purchased a body. It's just a clear unpainted body for his Traxxas Slash 4x4, but he really wasn't sure how to trim it up and get it ready for paint. So I told him I would help him out with that. He dropped off the body for me, and I'll show you guys in a minute what it looks like. He also dropped off the truck, which is helpful because I'm going to cut out the body mount holes as well for him. So I'm going to grab that box, show you what's in there, and then I'll also grab the truck, show you what we're working with, and we'll cut out this body together. All right. This is a big box. Well, take it out of the box down here. Show you what we got. That's a big body. So that is for a Traxxas Slash 4x4, as I mentioned before. And looks like it is a Ram body, which, you know, I'm not a huge Ram fan, but he is. Alright, there's a few tools that are essential for doing this. I know some guys just use like a razor knife, but that's really hard to get a nice straight cut. So I got these scissors. These are made by Duratrax. These are made for cutting Lexan. They're sharp little scissors. They're very tight there, so they can cut through that and very cleanly. And then I've got these ones which are curved. Those are good for cutting out those wheel arches or any type of curves in the body. And then the last thing that I'll be using is, looks like some sort of torture device, but this is called a body reamer. It's very, very sharp. Pokes through that Lexan, and then you can kind of drill out the body post holes as big as you need. I don't know how well these come up on camera, but you can see the wheel arches, you know, it's pretty well defined there. So I think I'm going to start out with these straight scissors and just going to kind of get a rough cut. So you can see how easy these cut through that Lexan. So I just want to get a rough cut around everything, and then I'll come back through and do all the detail after the bulk of this is gone. Want to get into the detail work right away because this stuff is kind of bulky and gets in the way here. So I'm just gonna work my way around, although I'm looking at the back and I may see, that's what happens when you order all kinds of RC stuff. You get all these stickers, and I had a stack of them there and I just knocked them all over. So there's this back part, and I think all this gets cut out. Looks like it. Let me I'm gonna grab the stock body and kind of look at how that is, because I don't want to cut away something that's not supposed to, but it looks like all this part just gets cut out here. So this is the truck that we're working with, is a Traxxas Slash 4x4. It's a short course truck, and just looking at the back of it, I was unsure on that new body about, you know, what needs to be cut out, but as you can see on here, the whole back of it is pretty much cut out to accommodate for that bumper. So I think that's what we'll do with the new one. I'm going to kind of use this stock body as a guide. Let's see if we can just set this kind of over top of it. That way we can see, yeah. This is the part that was in question back here. And as you can see, yeah, we're just gonna cut this whole piece out right along there. and that should match the stock body pretty good. All right, continuing on from where we were before, I've already got this wheel well just kind of roughly cut out. There's still a lot of material there to work with. Like I said earlier, you don't want to take too much away just in case, you know, but it's pretty well defined there. But I'm just going to cut from the corner here, get rid of this chunk, and then we can continue on along the back of it. There we go. And then I'm just going to cut straight across this back, and then we'll figure out what we want to do with the rest of the back of it. Then just continue along this side. Chunk out of the way, and then I can start on this wheel well. That mold was real thin right through there. I just sliced right through it. See on the front, there's a line right there. I don't know if we'll cut right straight across or if we're going to follow that line. We'll have to see how it lines up on the truck. See, the stock body looks like it's cut just straight across, so we may do that, or we'll have to see how it fits. I think to start out, I'll do this piece because we can always come back and cut it off, but we can't add it back on. So I'm just going to cut below that line. And go from there. Now this thing's starting to take shape. You can see there's still a lot of material there that needs to come off, but that's where those curved scissors really come into play. So you can get a nice clean curved cut there. I like to, you know, not get too off course here with the scissors, because you don't want jagged edges on it. Follow the line around, and it should be good. Now that we're at a straight part here, I'm going to switch over to my straight scissors. That's a nice looking wheel well. There is a little bit of jaggedness there. I can come back through either with the scissors or maybe with a knife, or even some sandpaper would work to clean that up, but I'll worry about that once we get all done here, cutting out the basic shape. Man, this body, it's so thin right here. Like it's just, I think because of the curve of the mold, like it's really, really thin right there. It's really easy to cut through, but I'm worried that he may have some issues with it breaking here. And that's right where those Nerf bars are at on the Slash 4x4. So he may have to reinforce that with some tape on the back side where you wouldn't see it, or I've even seen guys use like drywall tape and shoe goo. That's a good way to reinforce body. these hard curves right here make it a little difficult, but the curved scissors make it easier, so you can kind of see what you're doing as you cut away just a tiny bit. See how precise you can get with those? That's really nice. So far, so good though. I mean, it's pretty straight. These corners could use a little more, but I'll come back in with those scissors and do all that detail work. Okay, so that was kind of a difficult piece. I had to get just the right angle for that, but looks pretty good. There's a little bit of an edge there. Let's snip that off. Perfect. Now we're back on the straight. We'll grab our straight scissors, cut right down this line. Cut her straight, and I can already tell this side, same problem as the other side. This is really thin right in here. One more wheel well. We're still working with our curved scissors here. Even though the back half is kind of straight, but to make little cuts, you can use the curved ones. Yeah, that come up pretty clean. So now we've made our way to the front, and I'm going to leave that extra piece, but I know this body fits a bunch of different cars. It's for the Slash and some other short course trucks, so maybe that's what that extra piece is for. I'm going to cut it out. Get a rough cut, then we'll try and fit it on the truck, see how it lines up. But I got a feeling this whole front piece is going to come off, and we're just going to cut it right up to the bottom of the grill. So let's compare it. Yeah, you can see on this whole extra piece is going to end up getting cut off. I want to fit it on the truck first and make 100% sure before I cut it off of there. Back looks good. Yeah, that front has to be cut. This whole overhang here, that's got to come off of there, just like I thought. But, you know, measure twice, cut once, right? Everything is all cut out. You can see all the wheel wells, everything are nice and smooth. Got everything. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to just set it. I got the car here. And then I just want to figure out where these body mounts are going to go. You know, get everything lined up on the car. Make sure it's same side to side here. So the biggest thing here is just making sure the wheel wells are going to line up properly, and then you need to look from the top, make sure it's centered this way as well before you decide to make any cuts with those, because once those are cut, I mean, that's where it's going to be. So I'm just going to do some measuring here, and then I'm going to mark those with a marker, and then I'll get the body reamer and show you how that works. All right, I've got everything lined up to my liking. So you can see the body posts right through the clear body. So that works out when you're doing a project like this. So what I'm going to do is just got a Sharpie marker here. I'm just going to make a little dot right where that body post is. That way I can take the body away, use that reamer, and then we'll just test fit it, make sure everything's good, and we'll be all set. We're going to use our reamer here. You can see that thing's super pointy, very sharp. Need to be careful, but it's really useful for going right through this Lexan. It works kind of like a drill. Be careful you don't stab yourself. That's not good. So you just kind of work it in there, and you can slowly spin it around so you get the size that you want. We're going to start out small. Those Proline mounts are much smaller than the stock body mount, so they don't need as big of a hole. So I think that'll be good. What I like to do is I come in from the top, then I'll flip it over, put that reamer in the hole in the bottom, and just kind of clean it up, because there's a lot of extra material that kind of hangs on, and this will just kind of clean it up a little bit so it's nice and smooth. So that looks pretty good. Then we'll do this one. Thing, get in there, twist her down, flip it over, clean it up. Awesome. I want to test fit those so I know if that's the right sides before we move on to the front ones. They could be a little bigger. So let's do that. You want them tight, but not so tight you gotta force it on there. A little bit more. Perfect. Got these front holes. Same procedure. Come in from the top, clean it up from the bottom. Look at that. That is good. Now I think he's gonna want to maybe lower those mounts down just a little bit. There's a lot of room here, but maybe that's how he wants to run it. I would probably drop the body mounts down just a little bit. But yeah, it fits real nice. I'm happy with that, and I hope he is too. The front's real good. Looks good with that stock front bumper. So the only thing left to do before paint, because I've been handling this thing with my hands, and you know, who knows what kind of mold release they use, or if there's dirt on it from being on the shelf or whatever. I just use like warm soapy water and clean out the inside real good before I paint it. The other thing to note, and I already told this to him, is you need to make sure you get the right paint. You can't just use regular spray paint. Even if it's like the Krylon Fusion that's made for plastic, it will not work. It'll look good when you first do it, and that stuff's a lot cheaper than the polycarbonate paint that you are supposed to use with these Lexan bodies, but because these bodies flex, you know, they're made to flex and come back. The paint doesn't flex like that. The polycarbonate paint that's made for this, it bonds to it, and it does flex. So when you use regular spray paint, over time, from it flexing and everything, the paint will just crack and it'll start to peel off, and then it'll look terrible, and then, you know, you'll have to go get a new body, because getting paint off of these is not fun. It can be done, but I wouldn't even attempt it. So but that's about it. Not too bad of a process as long as you got the right tools. Well, I'm satisfied with that project. That went really smooth. Happy with how that came out, and hopefully my neighbor's son is happy with it as well. I think he will be. So I'm gonna take some pictures here and send them to him in a little bit, let him know it's all done. He can come pick that up. I want to thank you guys for following along with me. Hopefully it helped you out if you're on the fence about cutting out your own body or doing your own paint. You can totally do it. I know you guys got this. If this video did help you out, or you just like the content that I'm providing, hit that like button down below. I'd appreciate it. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any new content. And I'll see you guys in the next video.